The Galactic Council had seen many horrors across the stars. They had witnessed the fall of civilizations, the extinction of species, and the rise of tyrants who painted nebulae red with blood. But nothing had prepared them for the human called Kale. He stood in chains before the assembled representatives of 47 worlds, his scarred face illuminated by the cold blue light of the judgment chamber. The chains were forged from neutronium-laced alloy, designed to hold creatures 10 times his strength. Yet it was not his physical power they feared. It was what he had done on Varath Prime. Kyle of Earth. High Arbiter Xyloth began, her crystalline voice echoing through the vast chamber. You stand accused of genocide. 23 million Varathi souls perished in the firestorm you unleashed. How do you plead? The human said nothing. His dark eyes, cold as the void between stars, swept across the council members. Some flinched. Others whispered prayers in languages older than light itself. He does not even deny it, hissed Ambassador Thren, his serpentine form coiling in disgust. A monster clothed in flesh. I have seen the recordings. Cities reduced to ash, children atomized mid-scream. And he stands there, silent, as if our judgment means nothing. Then let us be done with this, Councillor Vash rumbled, his forearms gesturing toward the execution chamber. The penalty for genocide is dissolution. Let his atoms scatter across the cosmos as penance for... The chamber doors exploded inward, not with violence, but with a presence so overwhelming that reality itself seemed to bend. The temperature spiked instantly, and several councillors shielded themselves behind energy barriers as a massive form entered. A dragon, her scales shimmering like molten gold and crimson, her eyes burning with ancient intelligence. Aurith. She was magnificent and terrible, 50 meters from snout to tail, her wings folded against her body as she strode forward with the grace of a predator and the dignity of a queen. The guards raised their plasma rifles, but Aurith merely glanced at them. The weapons melted in their hands. You will not touch him, she said, her voice carrying the weight of centuries. The chamber erupted in chaos. Councillors shouted, demanded explanations, called for reinforcements. High Arbiter Xyloth raised a crystalline hand, and silence fell like a hammer. Aurith of the Eternal Flame, Xyloth said carefully, you dare interrupt proceedings of the Galactic Council? This human committed atrocities that saved 17 billion lives, Aurith interrupted, her gaze never leaving Kale's face. But you would not know that, would you? You saw the footage of destruction and named him monster. You did not ask why. There is no justification for genocide. Thren spat. Aurith's laugh was like distant thunder. No? Then let me illuminate your ignorance. She moved to Kale's side, lowering her massive head until it was level with his. For the first time since entering the chamber, the human's expression softened. He reached up with his chained hands and touched her snout gently. Varath Prime was not what you believed it to be, Aurith continued. 3 cycles ago, the Varathi made first contact with an entity from subspace, a parasitic consciousness that spreads through biological hosts. The Varathi leadership welcomed it, thinking it a gift. Instead, it consumed them from within. She projected holographic images into the air, not the sanitized footage the council had reviewed, but raw data streams. They showed Varathi citizens, their eyes black as oil, moving with horrifying synchronicity. They showed spore towers growing from city centers, pulsing with malevolent life. They showed ships leaving Varath Prime, carrying the infection toward other worlds. The entity you call the Varathi were already dead, Aurith said quietly. What remained were puppets wearing their faces, and they were hours away from launching an invasion fleet toward the core worlds, including your homeworld Arbiter Xyloth. The crystalline counselor went silent. Kale discovered the truth when his colony ship was forced to land on Varath Prime for emergency repairs, Aurith continued. He watched his crew get infected, watched them turn. But humans, fragile, short-lived, humans have something you long-lived species have forgotten. What could that possibly be? Vash asked, his voice uncertain now. Desperation, Kyle spoke for the first time, his voice rough, and the willingness to make impossible choices. Oreth nodded. He spent 3 weeks alone, hunted, studying the entity. He learned it was vulnerable to extreme heat, temperatures that would incinerate everything organic, so he infiltrated the planet's terraforming network and overloaded every thermal regulator simultaneously. He turned the entire planet into an oven, Thren whispered, horrified understanding dawning. 23 million bodies, Kyle said flatly. All of them already dead, just wearing familiar faces. I watched them burn through satellite feeds. Every single one. I carry their faces in my nightmares. His voice cracked. But I'd do it again. Because the alternative was letting that thing spread to every world in the sector. The chamber fell into heavy silence. Why didn't you explain this at your arrest? Xyloth asked. Because I burned 23 million people, Cal replied. Even if they were already gone, even if it saved billions more, some acts are too terrible to justify even to yourself. I expected execution. I deserved it. No, Oreth said firmly, pressing her head against him. You deserve what every hero deserves. The burden of living with necessary evil and the knowledge that others will judge you for choices they never had the courage to make. She turned her golden eyes to the council. Humanity is young. They have been in the stars for barely a century. But in that time I have watched them do what ancient species cannot. They step forward when everyone else steps back. They bear weights that would crush your spirits. And yes, sometimes they become monsters to fight monsters. But they are our monsters, she continued, her voice softening. They are the monsters that guard the light, that stand in the darkness so others don't have to. And if you execute Kale, today, you tell every human in the galaxy that mercy is weakness, that sacrifice is meaningless, that heroism is punished. Oreth straightened to her full height, her wings spreading wide. So decide, Council. Will you judge him by his actions alone, or will you judge him by his intentions, his sacrifice, and the 17 billion souls who live because he was willing to become what he hated? The vote took 3 hours. In the end, Kale was released, not pardoned, for some acts transcend forgiveness, but released with the understanding that sometimes the line between hero and monster is measured in impossible choices. As he walked free from the chamber, Oreth beside him, Ambassador Thren approached. I misjudged you, the serpentine diplomat said quietly. Kyle looked at him with those cold, haunted eyes. No, you judged correctly. I am a monster, but I'm a monster who saved your children from something worse. He walked away, and Oreth followed, her golden scales catching the light like a halo around humanity's darkest angel.